How's it going, folks? Jeremy Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel. So I've been playing a ton of Total War Warhammer lately, hyped for the third installment coming later this year. I love the Total War series and I love the Warhammer IP, so those two things combined is fantastic for me. Now, if you did not know this, the entire Warhammer catalog on Steam has got huge sales going on right now, thanks to the Warhammer Skulls Festival, running until June 11th, I think it was. Anyway, browsing through the entire roster of games, it's crazy to see the amount of PC Warhammer games out there, and yet, there's a huge gaping hole, and the IP is missing a PC MMORPG, of course. It's been about 8 years since Mythic's Warhammer Online shut down, and there's been nothing to fill the void since, besides the Re-Reckoning emulator that will scratch a nostalgia itch here and there, but officially, it still feels empty without a current live service game for audiences today. Oh, but wait a minute, you might be thinking, but there is a current live Warhammer MMORPG that exists today, you might say. And you are right. Warhammer Odyssey is a mobile MMORPG that's recently had its global launch this year on both the iOS and App Store as a free-to-play, officially licensed Warhammer MMO that's old school, according to what developers Virtual Realms had advertised. I've been playing it on and off for about a month or so on my phone, and I'm here to tell you that not only is it a pretty forgettable Warhammer game, but it's pretty bad for a mobile MMORPG, and definitely not curing the Warhammer MMO itch. Here's why. From the top, the game may be old school in certain aspects, but overall its implementation is terrible. After picking one of 6 classes that Warhammer fans will be familiar with, you're off to adventure, and the first few issues will already start to surface. Combat system is terribly sluggish for all classes. Doesn't matter if you're at the beginning out of the tutorial or you're at level 20 plus, it's just slow and uninspiring, despite having some iconic skill names and animations to boot. The sound design that accompanies the gameplay makes the whole experience worse. Here's a sample. So what exactly is old school about it? For starters, there's no auto combat or no auto pathing for questing here, which is commendable, but you need to back that up with substantial gameplay hooks that includes interesting quests, storylines, rewarding progression, and in-game activities. Unfortunately, Odyssey doesn't deliver in those categories. Quests here are boring and linear despite referencing some interesting old world lore with recognizable characters here and there. Besides that, side quests in this game offers pitiful amounts of XP, and there's a serious lack of content when you're leveling in the mid to late 20s, which means you'll be grinding mobs or redoing same old side quests for XP. On top of that, the progression system is beyond dull due to the slow pace of leveling and how rare basic equipment drops from enemies, which by the way, have had their HP increased on several occasions since launch for no other reason than unneeded difficulty, which makes taking on more than a few enemies at one time a chore, forcing you to either spend money, more on that later, or group up. That's not challenging content at all, that's just artificially padding the difficulty to always work against the player. Therefore, when you pair that with the slow and sluggish combat system, it's not a fun experience overall, at least for me. And to no surprise at all, with the slow rate of XP, the game will siphon you into the cash shop where plenty of elixirs can be bought to speed up the process. Why am I not surprised? It is, after all, a mobile MMORPG. Now, despite all of that, there are still some positives I'd like to highlight. For example, the above average graphics, it looks good on my phone, the aesthetic look and feel of the game, right down to the finer details in the UI, the icons that they use, and the character design. It does look like an authentic Warhammer game, but that isn't enough to earn a pass. The game without its Warhammer skin would be just another shallow mobile MMORPG. It's a good thing they haven't announced Warhammer Odyssey is coming to Steam or something, because you just know it will be torn to shreds in the review section with overwhelmingly negative. So yeah, thanks but no thanks. I'd rather pretend a Warhammer Odyssey MMO doesn't exist, because it's such a shallow game that's undeserving of the Warhammer license, and definitely not good enough to fill the MMO void that Warhammer Online has left behind. It's a wasted opportunity. That pretty much leaves us with the Re-Reckoning emulator of Warhammer Online, which is still around, and yes, people still do play it, but it is never going to be a full replacement for a modern-day live-supported MMORPG. Just think, if Warhammer Online was released today under a competent developer and publisher, fitted with all the graphical technology and gameplay advancements over the last decade, I think it would be a smash hit, and we'd be hyping it more probably than Amazon's New World, and would give today's lineup of MMOs a good run for their money. Alas, it's all just if, buts, and maybes. Anyway, thanks for listening to my mini rant. Your turn. Do you guys think a PC Warhammer MMORPG would make it big in today's market? And while we're at it, what's your favorite Warhammer game? I'm going to be doing some shopping while this sale is live, and I can't be playing Total War Warhammer forever, so that's it from me, folks. Share your thoughts in the comments section down below, hit the like button, and hey, feel free to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon which notifies you whenever a new video is up. Once again, I'm Adrian, and I thank you for watching.